large group, and I said, well, you know, we'll really take it. And he said, well, he finally gave in. Molly's got today, so we're taking up some time, and now we're going here.
Go take it back and say you got the wrong brand.
Hey, that'll hold you over till lunch.
One way out.
Well, that's true, but you gotta look at that. When we run this thing, you're responsible for that behind you.
This time,
Here you go, baby.
From there, we'll go on over to the road It's actually an extension of the main road that we were on here that circles around on this Johnson Canyon Road. Then we'll go south on that about 2 miles on the pavement. Then we'll cut right back across, and you can actually see where we're going to cut across. We'll go back across and take in the inshore march, and then drop back off into Seaman Canyon and back. Rich, he was a cowman. He was a cowman from the day that he was born until the day that he died. Age 81. And I used to say that my dad became a professional at teaching Hereford cows how to drink low sand and eat sagebrush. And but we used to camp in a tent over underneath some cedar trees over here. It's an old white tent. Finally decided he was going to build a cabin up there. And there was a sawmill in Fredonia. And my dad would take his old cattle truck and go to Fredonia, and he couldn't afford to buy a bundle of lumber, but he could buy a bundle of edgings. Anybody know what edgings are? It's what's left over after they get all the timber off. And he'd haul those up here, and we'd unload them by hand. And then with a handsaw, no power, with the handsaw, he cut every one of those boards, cut the edgings off from them, and then built this cabin. And a lot of the cabin, the old 2x4 or the old 2x6s that you see up there came from our grandfather's barn. When they tore the barn down, they saved every nail and they saved every board. My dad spent hours straightening nails on a piece of steel block and a hammer. And so it was all built with used nails that came from the old barn. But he built that. We had an old gas-powered cement mixer, poured in the concrete floor. Back in that corner on the inside, my name and date is on that. You can't get to it. I've tried to get to it, but they've got so much stuff in there I can't get it. The exact date and whatever when we poured that concrete is still there. But I'm going to open it. I think the door's open, and if you want to go through, but the old stove that's in here is the stove that was in my parents' home. That's what my mother cooked on, and it had a water jacket in it. Anybody know what a water jacket is?
Yeah.
That's how we heated the water for the house, for bathing and so forth. And when Mother finally got a new electric range, why the old wood stove came to scoot 'em. We called it scoot 'em. We didn't really call it scoot 'em pa, it was just scoot 'em. And so that's how this cabin came to be. So anybody got any questions?
The purpose of it was, were you doing the cattle and working in?
Yes. This was the summer range for the cattle. My dad had a BLM permit with my uncle down on the Paria River. They'd run their cattle together there in the winter time. And then they'd bring the cattle up the sand trail. Here comes Dave. Come on. What are you doing holding back? Everybody turn.
He's talking about you. He's talking about you.
That bad, huh?
He about sent us out looking for you.
You can tell when he's lying because his mouth's open.
He wants you out of front.
What? Just don't ask any questions.
I feel like a guinea pig.
But we both have a lot of memories of this place. This is the old corral over here where they gather the cattle and brand and so forth. Anything? What? You didn't hear what I had to say?
I have no idea. I'm not even going to go
All right,
there.
why don't you start over and you can tell.
Tell us your version.
Every kid's seen it different, I know that.
The road used to come from right over here.
Right.
Went right over here and off in the canyon and back out that way, and then it was
nasty.
pretty rough.
What we say was Western?
Yeah, it's about half western. But then my dad had a guy bring a cat in to make this road over there, and then he went off in this canyon. That's where I've been. There's a trail ponderosa pine, probably this big. It's dead now, but it used to be a live tree. But there's a spring right there, and I just wanted to see if there was some water. And there's a lot of water still running out of the little spring.
But anyway, this is where we spend a lot of our summertime. And our mother was a real trooper. And she'd come up here and Dad had worked the cattle, but Mother always had supper ready when they'd finish. And a lot of what you can see in here, some of the old beds, and when Mother finally got some new kitchen cabinets in her house, why the old kitchen cabinets came to school. So some of the cabinets and the old dining room table and the kitchen stove were in this cabin. So I think I haven't checked, but I think what's that?
That table's the one that Mother and Daddy had
In the kitchen.
in the kitchen.
How,
Yeah, exactly.
how many of you were there? How many kids?
Three
Three?
boys.
Everybody's been looking through the window and he opens the door.
Could be awesome just to see.
We were up here hunting deer one fall, and Shum and Lane and me and I don't know who all, Mac. But anyway, you were kind of sick or had a stomach ache or something, and we were out of water. And you wanted some water, and we wouldn't go down there and get a bunch of water in the middle of the night for you, so you got mad and you had that old orange Jeep station wagon. And you remember that, don't you?
I had an orange Jeep
Do you
station,
remember that part
1952
of the
orange
story?
Jeep station wagon with a 364
That
Buick
don't
in
matter.
it.
Anyway, you get carried on, and anyway, he got mad and got up in the middle of the night and went highballing off down in there and got some water. Don't you remember that?
I don't, but I'll believe it if you say it.
Okay. You want me to get a picture of you two in front?
I see my, you're gonna see my picture on a bulletin board in the post office.
It'll be on our club.